The Death Riders and the Young Bucks stand tall after putting Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland through tables last night on AEW Dynamite, with the full Anarchy in the Arena lineup being revealed without the inclusion of Gabe Kidd. Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay is confirmed to be the main event of AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. MJF signs the contract to officially join the Hurt Syndicate on Dynamite. Kazuchika Okada will defend his AEW Continental Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey at Double or Nothing on Sunday. Mina Shirakawa is officially All Elite. A CMLL star has answered the TBS Championship Open Challenge for Collision tonight on TBS. Damian Priest and Chelsea Green reportedly are receiving internal praise for their work recently on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is reportedly being considered for a Street Fighter film adaptation. Creative plans for Rusev on WWE Monday Night Raw possibly have been revealed. There reportedly will be no NXT PLE during SummerSlam weekend this summer. WWE's plans for the May 27th episode of NXT have been revealed after the Tampa taping was recently cancelled. The reason why AEW Double or Nothing isn't available on Triller TV in the United States this weekend has possibly been revealed. Plus, Hulk Hogan says he's able to feel his hands again following neck fusion surgery. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we're at 21,833 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe. In addition to that, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. You can click the join button or the link in the video description below. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. In addition, whilst you're checking out the sidebar, you can see all upcoming live watch-alongs and post-shows we've got coming up for you, including this weekend. We've got Saturday night's main event, a watch-along and a post-show on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll have AEW Double or Nothing, a watch-along and a post-show for that as well. Now, speaking of Double or Nothing, we've got more details about the Anarchy in the Arena match that will be a featured match on Sunday. Last night on Dynamite, the Death Riders and the Young Bucks stood tall. The May 21st edition of AEW Dynamite was closed out with a huge brawl between both Anarchy in the Arena teams. The brawl started backstage and quickly spilled into the ring, involving chains, chairs, trash cans, and tables. Notably, during the final stages of the brawl, Gabe Kidd entered and targeted Kenny Omega, giving the advantage to the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. Moments later, the group set up two tables at ringside for Swerve Strickland and Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks took advantage of the situation, putting Strickland and Omega through tables by diving off the turnbuckle with an elbow drop and a frog splash. Now, interestingly, as I mentioned, the lineups and the teams for Anarchy in the Arena were revealed last night, and it got a lot of people kind of confused as to what's going on. Now, the official participants for Sunday's Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing were announced via a graphic on Dynamite on Wednesday. Now, the match was made official last week after Swerve Strickland issued the challenge to the Young Bucks and the Death Riders following the interference by New Japan Pro Wrestling's Gabe Kidd on behalf of Jon Moxley during his steel cage match for the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. Strickland's babyface team features AEW World Trios champions Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata, as well as international champion Kenny Omega and Willow Nightingale. Moxley's team will consist of Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir. Now, Kidd was notably absent from the graphic. Now, AEW didn't give any reason as to why the New Japan star wasn't in the match after helping Moxley retain his gold last week, and as I mentioned, he would appear again to close Dynamite, helping the Death Riders and Young Bucks win a go-home brawl Wednesday night, so it seems like he's going to be involved in some capacity. How? We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like Anarchy in the Arena will not be the main event this weekend. Will Ospreay and Hangman Page are set to clash at AEW Double or Nothing in the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament. It was confirmed that the bout will main event AEW Double or Nothing. On AEW Dynamite, the two went face-to-face with Ospreay offering to share a beer as an apology. Ospreay stated that he wants to petition to main event the show. Ospreay said that he has no problem following Anarchy in the Arena or 3 hours of great wrestling because an AEW World title shot at AEW All In was on the line and the winner would get the chance to once again hold the AEW World title proudly. Hangman said he needs to win on Sunday because he feels he wasted 2 years of his life as they've been filled with grief, sorrow and hate. Hangman said the only thing he won in 2 brought him nothing but the same. And worst of it were the 3 times when he was at home when his son saw him staring out the window looking for someone that wasn't coming back. I need this, stated Hangman, explaining that he needs his wife, kids and the fans to look at him as the man he used to be and the man they deserve. Ospreay stated his best hasn't always been good enough and that he's lost, but he's won the respect and the trust of the fans. Hangman asked if that would be enough to beat Jon Moxley. Ospreay wasn't sure, but he wants Hangman, the Hangman who beat Moxley, to show because if he can beat him, he can beat Moxley. Ospreay said his best has been good enough to beat the likes of MJF, Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega because he is the best in the fucking world. The segment closed with the 2 men sharing a beer and it being confirmed that they will main event AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday. Now MJF, he is officially now a member of the Hurt Syndicate. MJF officially hurts people. After being accepted into the group on last week's show, MJF sat down with MVP, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin on Wednesday's edition of Dynamite to officially sign his contract with the Hurt Syndicate. After laying out the rules, Smart Mark Sterling proceeded to pass the contract down the table, allowing MJF, MVP, Shelton Benjamin and Lashley to sign the contract. The group was then interrupted by the Sons of Texas, Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. Rhodes proceeded to run down MJF, saying that he has no work ethic or grit. Rhodes then focused on Lashley and Benjamin, daring them to hurt him. Rhodes ended up finishing off his promo by telling everyone to bet on the Day 1 guys, himself and Sammy, at Double or Nothing this weekend when the World Tag Team titles will be on the line. Speaking of Double or Nothing, another title match has been confirmed. Kazuchika Okada is set to defend his AEW Continental Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey at AEW Double or Nothing. Okada said on AEW Dynamite that Bailey doesn't get to call him out because he was calling him out. Renee Paquette noted that Bailey had not been pinned in AEW. Okada said there was a first time for everything. Trust me, and the word, of course, bitch, was not said. So that match confirmed for this weekend. Mina Shirakawa is officially All Elite. We kind of knew this, but now it's official from AEW President Tony Khan. In the worst kept secret in wrestling, Mina Shirakawa is officially All Elite. Shirakawa announced on March 26th that she'll be leaving Stardom to join AEW. She has competed on AEW television the past 2 weeks, including earning a shot at the AEW Women's title at AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. Now she has a graphic. AEW President Tony Khan posted to social media, quote, she's challenging for the AEW Women's World title at AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday, and after her impressive win on AEW Dynamite and her altercation with world champion Timeless Tony Storm, now it's official, Mina Shirakawa is officially All Elite. Now, speaking of the women's division in AEW, a big match has been confirmed for Collision tonight, a special live episode on TBS. AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné will be facing Jamie Hayter in the finals of the AEW Women's Owen Hart Cup on Sunday. But on the road to Double or Nothing, she'll put her TBS title on the line against a multi-time CMLL Mexican National Women's Champion. CMLL star Reina Isis answered Moné's open challenge and will get a chance at the AEW TBS Championship on AEW Collision on Thursday, marking Isis' AEW debut. This week's Collision was moved from Saturday to Thursday due to the NHL Conference Playoffs airing on TNT, which will see the Florida Panthers play the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 3 of their Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Should Moné defeat Isis on Thursday, she will head into Double or Nothing as a champion for roughly a year to the day that she won the title at the 2024 edition of Double or Nothing. Moné defeated former champion Willow Nightingale in Moné's debut match in All Elite Wrestling. Other matches have also been confirmed for AEW Collision this evening. First, Speedball Mike Bailey will team up with previous foe in Commander to take on LFI duo of Rush and Dralistico. As I mentioned, there will be that TBS Championship match as well. In addition to that, FTR and the duo of Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness will sign the contract for their match at Double or Nothing. Furthermore, Kyle Fletcher will take on Jay Lethal in a singles contest. And as previously announced, Paragon will take on the Grizzled Young Veterans. Switching over to WWE here and some praise for some SmackDown superstars. 2 WWE SmackDown stars are reportedly receiving high praise backstage for their efforts, especially over WrestleMania season. According to PW Insider, many WWE talents and others backstage have been marveling at the toughness of Damian Priest, and Chelsea Green has also received praise for her willingness to go above and beyond outside of the ring. According to PW Insider, Priest has been praised in the locker room for how tough he's been despite being banged up through his feud with Drew McIntyre. Of course, the pair faced off at WrestleMania 41 in a Sin City street fight where McIntyre came out on top with a Claymore. The pair will face each other once again this Saturday at Saturday night's main event inside of a steel cage. PW Insider also reported that Green has a positive reputation backstage for a willingness to jump in for media responsibilities as well as other events such as community outreach and fan engagement. She received praise for her work during WrestleMania weekend, despite not having a match on the card when she was the Women's United States Champion at the time. A source told the outlet that they would compare Green to The Miz, who is a consistently great ambassador for WWE. Green said on a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet she wants to be known as the female Miz, citing his work ethic and real-life balance. Green was awarded the honor of becoming the inaugural Women's United States Champion when she won the bout at Saturday night's main event back in December. She lost her gold to Zelina Vega on a recent episode of SmackDown. There are currently no women's matches booked for the upcoming edition of Saturday night's main event on NBC and Peacock this weekend. Now, some big news when it comes to Roman Reigns transitioning over to Hollywood, because it looks like he's going to be cast in an upcoming video game film adaptation. With WrestleMania 41 now a thing of the past, and the alliance of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman having taken him out one night later on Raw, it was expected that fans wouldn't be seeing Roman Reigns for a little while, given his penchant of taking a few months off after the showcase of the Immortals. That appears to be the case again this year. Only instead of going home, Reigns may be finding himself on a film set during his wrestling hiatus. Deadline is reporting that Reigns is in talks for a lead role in a live-action adaptation of Street Fighter, the popular video game series. Also in discussions for other major roles are Jason Momoa, Andrew Koji, and Noah Centineo. Now, not much is known about the plot of the film at this time, that will be produced by Legendary Pictures in conjunction with Capcom, the developer and publisher of the Street Fighter series, and that the film will be directed by filmmaker Kito Sakurai. Now, Deadline was unable to provide any details regarding which role Reigns was in talk for, leaving it a mystery for about an hour. Fightful Select, though, have since reported that Reigns is in talks for the role of Akuma, the popular anti-hero in the Street Fighter series. Akuma is known for his distinct red hair, a stark contrast to Reigns' long black hair. While negotiations between Reigns and the studio appeared to be far enough along, those in the film and gaming industry stressed that no deal between Reigns and the studio head had been finalized at this time. Now, Reigns has previously appeared in films, including Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, The Wrong Missy, and the animated film Rumble. He is scheduled to have a role in the upcoming heist film, The Pickup. So, of course, if we get any more details on that, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, upcoming creative plans for Rusev in WWE have possibly been revealed. WWE's plans for Rusev's potential next feud on Monday Night Raw have been revealed courtesy of a new report. On the Raw after WrestleMania 41, Rusev returned to the company after 5 years away, immediately attacking Alpha Academy's Otis and Akira Tozawa. Since then, Rusev has been engaged in a feud with Otis and Tozawa, defeating the former on the May 5th episode of Raw, and is currently advertised to take on the latter on next Monday's show in Tampa, Florida. With many fans expecting Rusev to swat away Tozawa on Monday, WWE's potential plans for the Bulgarian Brute's next feud on TV may have been revealed. As reported by PW Insider, there has been rumblings of a Rusev vs. Sheamus program having been pitched for the Raw brand. While Sheamus has been busy with A-Town Down Under's Austin Theory and Grayson Waller since returning to WWE action on May 5th, the Celtic Warrior did recently cross paths with Tozawa during a backstage segment on the May 12th episode of Raw, encouraging the Japanese star in his mission for revenge against Rusev. While the pair are known to be friends and close friends outside of work, Sheamus and Rusev also share history with one another on WWE television, previously making up half of the short-lived League of Nations faction in 2015 to 2016 alongside Wade Barrett and Alberto Del Rio. Now, an interesting update here when it comes to NXT during SummerSlam weekend this year. WWE Premium Live events are usually a multi-day wrestling spectacle, but it seems WWE could be flipping the script for the upcoming SummerSlam event on August 2nd and August 3rd this year. The first ever two-night SummerSlam, WWE are heading to MetLife Stadium for the party of the summer. However, it seems as though there will be no NXT PLE slated for that weekend, with WrestleVote saying the following on a Backstage Pass Q&A, quote, "No, NXT will not be doing anything tied into SummerSlam weekend as of now. They do have their own event. It will be taking place at the end of August, and we're all looking to nail down the date and location of that as soon as possible." Now, especially for the bigger events on the calendar, WWE will usually run SmackDown, NXT, the PLE in question, and Raw from the same city, with the recent WrestleMania 41 weekend seeing WWE run multiple shows across the course of the weekend. Now, NXT is set to run Battleground this weekend on May 25th in Tampa, Florida, with WWE running Saturday night's main event in the same city on the same weekend. Now, speaking of NXT, there's been a bit of confusion this week after a recent cancellation of an upcoming taping in Tampa. Now, WWE made a change to their plans for the post-Battleground edition of NXT, which is scheduled to air on Tuesday, May 27th. The show was originally set to emanate from the Youngling Center in Tampa, Florida, as part of a 4-show stay at the venue for WWE, which includes Saturday night's main event, NXT Battleground, and Monday Night Raw. But the NXT TV taping has been cancelled. Now, no official reason was given for the cancellation, but WrestleTrix noted that around 1,700 tickets had been distributed for the NXT TV taping, while the Youngling Center is set up for a capacity of just below 10,000. Saturday night's main event and Raw are close to selling out, while over 6,000 tickets have been distributed for Battleground. Following the cancellation, NXT commentator Vic Joseph announced on Tuesday's episode of NXT the next week's post-Battleground show will be taped from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. NXT TV is taped at the Performance Center, but the brand isn't on the road. Now, there's been more confusion when it comes to AEW Double or Nothing and where you can actually purchase the pay-per-view this weekend. Now, All Elite Wrestling pay-per-views have been available on Triller TV in the United States since Dynasty in April 2024, but that won't be the case for Sunday night's Double or Nothing event. It's been announced that Double or Nothing will be available to order on Triller TV for international fans, including in the United Kingdom. The show won't be available in the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico on Triller TV. However, in an update on the situation, Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Triller is currently in a bad financial state, and there are fears amongst some of Triller TV's partners that they may not receive money that they are owed. This may be a factor in AEW removing Double or Nothing from Triller TV in the United States, as the majority of AEW's pay-per-view buys are from the US. Quote, "I've known this for a long time. Triller is in a real bad financial state. They didn't file their 10Q. They're on the verge of being delisted. Their stock is under $1 per share, so they need someone to buy them right now because they're in trouble. It probably plays into something having to do with this. If you're far behind, there is obviously the fear you may not get your money, and I know other people who have done business there are fearing that right now," Meltzer said. Now, AEW fans in the United States can order Double or Nothing on Amazon Prime, PPV.com, YouTube, Fubo, and from traditional cable and satellite providers. And finally, Hulk Hogan says that he's able to feel his hands again after a recent surgery. Now, Hulk Hogan recently underwent the knife, with the WWE Hall of Famer undergoing neck fusion surgery on May 14th. Whilst reports at the time stated it was just a little procedure to make Hogan feel a bit better, it seems the surgery has had some restorative effect on Hogan's everyday life, with Eric Bischoff revealing on the 83 Weeks podcast that Hogan has regained feeling in his hands following the operation. Quote, "He flew in on Tuesday night, had surgery early Wednesday morning. It was a several-hour surgery. They were working on the discs in his neck, but they had to go through in the front of his neck to go and get them," said Bischoff, later extolling that Hogan was in a better way post-surgery. Quote, "But from what I've heard from one of the people that works closely to him on a daily basis was that coming out of the surgery, for the first time in a long time, he could actually feel his hands." Now, Hogan has undergone multiple surgical procedures in the several past years in order to counter his decades of in-ring competition across AWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE, and WCW. Quote, "It's amazing that he's still walking. It shocks me that he's still capable of walking," Bischoff said. "He's kind of a fighter, and he's digging in." But there you go, guys. That's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As you can see right there, we're currently at 21,833 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Click that like button. Also, scan the QR code or click the link in the video description or the join button and join the WN365 roster. And I'll speak to you again very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.